All right, well, we have David Levine and Chandra Bond, who are, we've got the writer director here and the producer right here.
Actually, not the
Oh,
right
No, not right. Just right.
oh,
Yep.
name.
director, producer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it. I should have checked
The
that before I
actors
hit
and
record.
the lead, producer, lead, production designer. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and so I was hinting before we started recording how great I think this film is, and
Oh,
in all
thank you.
seriousness, I don't know where to start. I don't know what level of compliment I can give you. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's wonderfully written, smartly directed. I think the acting is unbelievably good, and it's like so good that it's one of the films that for like the second or third viewing, I always stick my girlfriend in front of I bother her. I'm like, okay, this one, because I just want her to think that the festival's like amazing. So yours is one of the ones that I insisted she watch because, and it's just so well done. So I will hand it off to the two of you, so that you can share the process of how it got to the screen. How you developed it.
Of course. Chandra, I'm not sure if you want to field this as far as how it all really started and all that.
So my co-star Janelle, who is the other lead female, and we've been acting together for a while, and we really wanted to do a short together, and a couple of projects fell through, and a really good friend of ours, Aaron Bennett, was kind of venting to him about it, and he asked for some of the specifics: who was acting in it, their age range, how many people. And with only that information, he came up with this script, and we read it and we loved it. And so then we looked for a director and some shoot dates, and it all kind of fell into place after that. And David was great in helping us go a little deeper than just the surface level of a lot of the words, which I don't know if a lot of other directors would have helped us get to that level. So I'll let David take it from here.
Well, it's an interesting, and it's great to hear that you really enjoyed it, just because it is a very, pretty challenging subject matter, only just due to the fact that I knew going into it, the biggest challenge was like, I have to make something that the majority of the audience is going to find just kind of like disturbing throughout, like all the way to the end, where it's like you get really nothing out of it outside of just almost not wanting to watch it. Like once it's done, you kind of feel more relief more than anything, just because it's finally like over. So that's going in as a director, just a storyteller, like having that as the main kind of intention, and really trying to stick with that was kind of critical for me, as well as the fact that it is a pretty abrupt, almost what now would be like termed as a twist of sorts. And I wanted to try to avoid a twist and make more of a transition, and kind of use that big transition moment as far as like something that's just seem analogous with the world that I'm trying to kind of set up. Starting out uncomfortable and just using that more as a transition as opposed to a big twist, even though if it is pretty abrupt. But I think the main reason why I took this on was really just to work with three phenomenal actors that all have very strong theatrical backgrounds. And me being pretty much a new director, this is like my second short, and I would say my first short's really just more of a student short. So this would be, I really want to just make this much more of a challenge and a goal for myself to work with the talent. And I saw within the script three very different arcs that these actors would have to go through and the characters go through. And I just want to really try to hone that and work with the talent, even with, though we had like, what, it was like 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was very short from the time we found our dates to when David signed on, it was 2 weeks until we started shooting. So it was very fast.
Yeah, so it was just a table read, an hour per person to really just talk with like their characters and their roles, and then we had like just a little bit of rehearsal time. The overall set is you did in like a day, just because our previous set was completely rained out, as well as a last minute like build on the initial set because we couldn't find a proper location. And so Chandra, also being production designer, really managed to pull that all off and really add a lot of like just the overall visual aesthetic that it really needed as well, especially when it came to the blocking and all that.
Thanks. And the production design was actually, I mean, I love that aspect of it, but David, you were really clear with what you were looking for, so it made that pretty easy to find for good counsel.
Well, you mentioned the twist, and that's one of the things I enjoy most about it, I think, is because of the production design and because of the tight performances and the way it's shot, that when you see it again, well, and when and everyone who's watching this has already seen it, so we don't have to worry about spoilers. This comes after the film, so once Chandra's dead,
yeah.
It all makes sense. It makes sense why it's in such a weird location. It makes sense why there's plastic on, everything comes together. So it really, what feels like a twist is really a natural progression once you know. And I think that's one of the things that makes it so rewarding is to have a twist that works so well. It's really was inevitable.
Yeah. When I initially read the script, it was one of those things where, as I was reading it, once I got to when Chandra is bludgeoned to death, and initially it was a brick. I was like, all right, we have quite a bit of a leap already. Let's make it an award or something. That's just nearby. So for me, I even had to like go back and reread, just so that way I made sure like I didn't miss anything. And now is the biggest thing is like it was also a worry for me is an audience going into it, how if it's too abrupt, if it's something too just out there, which no matter what, that was going to be the case, but if it was just too jarring to which it takes them out of the overall experience, then I no longer have them. I no longer have the audience. So as well as when you take a character that Matt brilliantly portrayed, who winds up like breaking down and going through that transition of where the audience really just doesn't care for this character at all. They don't have any like feel for him as far as where he's coming from. He's pretty much like the ass of like everyone. And so to then feel almost empathy for that character with what he's done, which Alan is, I don't know how many times I've viewed it, like 50 times, post, whatnot. I still, at the very end, just like am kind of relieved as just no longer having to watch him in such turmoil. And so that's like, once I knew I got to that point, like, especially on set, I was like, all right, cool. Like we're there. And like, I think that the talent, more than anything, that's the main route that I think all the actors, the three of them, brought so much to the characters, and it was such a challenge for them to be able to create that arc within their characters. And that's, I think, the hardest part for any directors when it comes to shorts, is being able to properly convey any kind of arc that you're trying to illustrate, both script-wise as well as visually.
Yeah, and I was going to add, for me, as a viewer, as the audience, and I'm sure this would come from the audience if we had been lucky enough to solve a global pandemic, is it does, it makes sense to me that it came from Chandra and Janelle as looking for a chance to perform as women in a film, because it feels like a performance piece. The actors it's a performance piece for them. I think Aaron Bennett, you please communicate to him just how great this script is. I couldn't help but say to people when we discussed this behind the scenes, like, how smart is that? Obviously, it makes sense to involve the person paying for the murder as a witness so that he has to shut up. You know, I just think it's such good thinking. And then David as a director, I think everyone really got to flex their muscles and, you know, use the short form film format to just really, I don't want to say show off a little, but to really perform and perform at a high level.
I think with Aaron, like, I'll definitely convey that because it was it's rare as a director doing a short that you haven't already written. And so going in completely green, nothing's really changed, like just some small dialogue stuff. That's all him as far as that story and like the layers to the story. And so, yeah, it's like very minor changes, if any at all. And yeah, that's all him and that texture within it, and the writing within it.
Yeah, and we fell in love with it, and he would have been with us tonight, but he's on set right now for a feature film. So
good for him. And of course, I should mention Janelle deserves. Please give her our warmest regards, because I mean, my God, after the turn, I bet she doesn't get to be that scary and intimidating that often.
I think she was secretly born for that kind of role, because she nails it. And it definitely made a couple of our friends kind of take a step back and go, okay, I'll be careful with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny
She
because the
nails it.
cinematographer, Chris, who did an amazing job as well, there would be takes where he would just like pull me aside and was like, this makes my skin crawl, especially on her like close-up singles and the way she like portrays it. And just those shark eyes. Yeah, it's just like, he's like, yeah, this is downright creepy. I was just like, I have to look away because it just feels so wrong, just the way, like how natural it is for her. As well as the fact that like, even in a table read, when she brought this very bubbly kind of like therapist initially to the table, which I like initially didn't really even see, but the moment she brought it in, I was like, that's fantastic. It's such a diversion, like once like that transition does happen, and where she does become this just very heartless individual, but at the same time, like just almost has like this nonchalance to what she does, to where she still has that kind of bubbly like personality, but it's just such an aside. And so for her to like walk that line, and this was, Chandra, correct me if I'm wrong, is this was like her first time on screen? She'd mostly done theater, or she's done like one or two?
She had done one or two small things, but it was one of her bigger times on an actual set.
Yeah, so her coming from a theater background, it was interesting because she gave so much, like there's a lot of kind of dialing back, but then she was able to dial that back and really share a lot of that physicality with her eyes. And so the moment any minor direction, when it comes to dialing back to physicality, because she's on screen, she immediately was able to transfer that just within her looks and her facial expressions, which, yeah, it's haunting.
I was going to ask Chandra, I mean, what is fascinating is Janelle's in a murder film, but your performance, you're actually 100% in a relationship drama.
Yes. Very.
What was that like to sort of be divorced from the rest of it?
Well, initially when we read the script, we had thought about playing the opposite characters because I naturally am drawn to those type of characters. But one of the reasons we wanted to do this short was to really showcase Matt and Janelle. And from what I hear from people, we did that, which I'm so glad for. But she definitely nails that part. And to really just focus on the relationship side, I mean, I still had to do quite a bit of prep for my role, but I really only had to shoot for 1 day as compared to their 2 days. So in a way,
You
there's
had to shoot for 2 days. You're just laying in a box for
apparently I'm good at being dead. So.
Yeah, but if you hadn't been so compelling as the wife and heiress who's honestly looking to save her marriage, you know, because that character could have just been trying to jettison this loser. But if you hadn't been so compelling in that, then the audience wouldn't have been so pulled in into you for the turn to be so abrupt and shocking.
Oh, thank you. I have to attribute that to the fact that I am married. So it was easy. Well, I mean, it's difficult material to work on, but it was easier to draw on that relationship. And if something was going wrong and, you know, all those feelings just kind of come up naturally. So that helps a lot in that aspect. And then since Matt is a good friend, kind of just plugging him into that role and caring about him naturally kind of just fit the pieces together. And
Well, it was an interesting challenge for Chandra, as you said, like, yeah, where she's doing like a social drama, to also have a character that the audience can kind of like empathize with, but at the same time, like she has this serious wall and guard up, and defensiveness towards such a hostile character as her husband. But then there's this vulnerability to her, which Chandra would attest, it's not her typical role. But she did it masterfully when it came to having that undertone of vulnerability. But then she goes through this pretty critical transition just before she's bludgeoned to death, where she realizes that really the main reason like why her husband has been so distant, why it's been so difficult, and her like realization that there is a salvageability between their marriage, that there is hope between the two of them, and that she finally has this moment of understanding, of where he's kind of even coming from, even though he seems so hostile. She makes this transitional moment of just understanding, and then she's killed. So that like you can't, as an audience, you almost get to this point of realization, and you're kind of robbed of being able to like see that through. And so that's kind of what I like saw with her characters, that it's a very tragic moment more than anything, just because we always look for those revelations that might save something so dear to us, and then to not be able to see what happens from that and it's cut short.
especially with our short time frame, the conversations that I was able to have with David, the questions that he chose to challenge me with for my character definitely helped beat around the bush and just dig really deep really fast. And there was a couple of questions that I had to take some time to think about and, you know, do my homework on. But once I really thought about those and broke through it, I mean, it's sad emotionally in the moment, but it feels good as an actor to break through those moments and to be able to do that on set and have those realizations.
Superb. Well, I hate to be abrupt, but we've gone a little over. But I always ask if there's anyone that you didn't get to mention, that the two of you would like to name check for a moment, because it sounds like a lot of great work went into this, although most of it was done by the people I'm looking at.
We had a really great team, a small team, but Chris Bond, our DP, he brought a lot of the aesthetic to what David was looking for. And of course, Matt, our amazing lead, and our whole camera team, Noble and Riker and Aaron actually worked on set as well. He helped build some of the fake walls. So it was really a group effort, and I owe a lot to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to mirror pretty much all of that. Cause yeah, like it's a small team. I mean, even down to the script advisor, and I apologize, I'm blanking on her name, but our scripty, like who is my first audience, huh?
Caitlin.
Caitlin, yes. First time working with her. And she, to me, like as director, just first time being able to have like as my first audience member, and she's like even hitting me. We're like, what on earth did you do to them? It's like,
Oh, I can't
uh,
forget Alexandra Bayless, our amazing special effects makeup artist.
yes.
It made that head gash look awful, which was great.
But yeah, across the board, like the entire crew, I can't thank them more enough. I mean, they really helped make this an amazing piece.
It shows. It shows. It's a great piece. It's a great film. I assume you're going to have a good long festival experience with it, and rack up all kinds of accolades. So congratulations, and thanks for submitting it to Sherman Oaks.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity.
All right, it was a pleasure to meet you both.
Me too.
Take care.